So this is one of the new laptops that have been donated. It has a locking cradle, and on the cradle it has a Ethernet cable. So we have to plug in the Ethernet cable that's already connected to the active fog server. Open it up, turn on the power, and then push escape repeatedly to try and get it to go into the BIOS. Okay, now once it's in the BIOS, what we need to do is we have to, we can make the shred certificate, but first I want to have a look at some of the settings. So let's go to BIOS setup. So when on boot we can use F10 instead. F10 will get you in. First thing you're going to have to do is go to advanced, and in the advanced section go down to secure boot configuration. In secure boot configuration you have to change this so that it says legacy support is enable and secure boot disable. It must be in this setting. When you open it up, it's probably not going to be in this setting, and I want you to set it to this. When you're finished, then click the arrow back, go to main. When you go to main, then click save and exit, or save changes and exit, and then when it reboots, push F10 again repeatedly, okay? So save changes, yes, then F10 repeatedly. So F10 will get you back into that BIOS. Because we need to go in to make sure we set the legacy. Once we've set the secure boot and turned it off and legacy is enabled, then we're able to go to the boot menu and get it to boot to the network first. So boot options. So now we can scroll down and the legacy options are available, so let's activate those. So we check this off, and we go down here, and arrow down to network, then push enter, and then arrow up to move network to the first position. Push enter, go back to main, and then we want to save changes and exit. So now if the computer is already plugged into your Ethernet and your server's running and everything, this should automatically boot to your fog screen. Let's see if this works. Okay, it doesn't seem to want to kick over first, so I'm going to have to switch it and force it to boot to the network. So to force to boot to the network, turn it off, turn it back on again, and push the escape button repeatedly. When you push the escape button repeatedly, or push, I believe it's F9, you can tell the computer which boot option you want to do, or you want to use. So let's double check this list. Yeah, so the boot menu is F9. So when you turn it on, you can push F9 to force it to boot to the network. Let's see, what do I want to use here? I think that's the hard drive. Let's use this legacy NW. Let's see if that turns into our Ethernet. Yep, that looks right. So that's how you get into the fog server. Okay, now that the fog server is running, in the drop-down menu, as soon as the white screen appeared, I arrowed down to full system or full host registry. Now the reason I want to do a full host registry, I want to see if it gives me the information I need in the fog registry so that I can add in all of the hard drive serial number and everything else without having to open up the computer. This might save us some time. Okay, when you're doing a full system registry, what we could do is enter a host name for the computer. Now, if it doesn't have a number on it, you can set a number if you want. So I'm just going to call this computer 1. Now you can put your name in it too. It doesn't matter because we can delete it from the host registry later. Enter the image to associate with the computer. We're just going to push enter. We're not associating anything here, so we're just going to push no. No again. Nope. Nope, we don't want it to do anything here. We're simply looking to register it. So enter the primary user. Again, just push enter. Enter again, and we're not deploying any image, so just say no. Now it's going to register and give us all the specs on this computer. Hopefully all those specs can then be viewed in the fog server so that we can fill in the shred Google form. Okay, so now I'm in the fog server, and what I did was I clicked on host management, list all hosts, and then my host is right there. It's number 1. That's the name I gave it. So I'm going to click on 1, and I want to see if I can find all the specs for the host that I can use then to fill in my shred form. Okay, now underneath host menu, the best way to find all the specs we need for the shred form is under inventory. So you click on inventory and then have a look. You should be able to find all of like the serial number. The computer name is HP Elite Book 840G3. And let's see if it has any information about the hard drive for us. There it is. So it has the hard drive model and it also has the hard drive serial number. So we have everything we need in here. We just grab the data from here, enter it into our Google form, and then submit the shred form. Then we can use the fog server to set shred, and then the hard drive will be shredded promptly right after.